Marietta is playing host to Wilson. First pitch was at 1 o'clock, the first game of a doubleheader. Starting in the top of the third, Samuel Martin drops in a 1-out single. The Phoenix would go on to load the bases in this inning, but Austin Ziance bears down and gets the huge strikeout right there to dance out of trouble. Wilson leads it 1-0 to the home half. Catcher Will Loftus grounds one to the right side. That plates Jeremy Tonelli, and it's tied up. Ziance really settling in now. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Marietta's starter strikes out the side to keep it tied up at 1-1. Moving right along to the top of the fifth, Ryan Torres lost one into center. However, Piles would get out of it with no damage done. Bottom five now, Tonelli up with nobody on. He ropes a backside line drive, and he'll belly flop into second with a double. Marietta wouldn't score this inning, but they go on to get the win in the first game, 3-2.